It's impossible to think of a new Lebanon if it's not built on the foundation of justice and accountability.
The huge forced immigration by our young and our skilled is a crime just as big as the political crime. And we owe it to ourselves to study it, analyze it, figure out what went wrong and who did wrong.
It's up to us, it's up to the Lebanese government in this particular case, or a post-election government, to do the ABCs of the homework that we need to do, and we will find a willing international community, willing and eager to help Lebanon.
Lebanon has all the resources and also all the support it needs to get out of this crisis. Lebanon can count on the support of the international community and of the European Union and its member states in this process, because we wish that Lebanon remains a stable and prosperous.
The path to recovery starts with the top priority is that to alleviate the humanitarian situation that has emerged as a result of mismanagement. Step 2 is to regain confidence by putting together and implementing immediately the obvious and quick reforms required of Lebanon.
ما ممكن نحكي بأي إصلاحات بهذا البلد من دون وجود أجهزة رقابية حقيقية وفعالة لنقدر نوصل لمحل نرفع التدخل السياسي عن القضاء.
كله لازم نعيد بناؤه، ولكن أهم شيء الثقافة. ما في حريات بلا ثقافة.
الانفجار وعانا كلنا لازم نكون على إنه البلد بلا قضاء مستقل ما بيمشي. وندعي كل القيمين والمسؤولين إنه يوقفوا وقف الضمير، يرفع إيدهم عن القضاء اللبناني.
You want to talk about gain and loss. Think about the loss. We had a deal on the table in 2015 and 16. Had it been implemented then, or reached then, there would have been exploration, it would have taken a few years. And today Lebanon would be producing gas. It would have 24-hour electricity.
حجم ماركة الغاز بعد 20 سنة ما بيكون مثل اليوم. اليوم عم بتخبط العالم كرمال الغاز. فلذلك هو اليوم هو الغاز هو طاقة الترانزيشن، يعني طاقة الانتقال من المرحلة الأحفورية إلى المرحلة المستقبلية اللي إن شاء الله بتكون رينيوبل كلها.
الموضوع المتعلق بلبنان تحديداً بالنسبة لإدارة بايدن ولكل الإدارات الأمريكية بغض النظر على كانت جمهورية أو ديمقراطية، ما بدهم يصير في غياب للاستقرار بلبنان، لأنه هيدا بيعني غياب لأكثر غياب الاستقرار بالمنطقة، لأنه المنطقة اليوم أصلاً ما ناقصها يعني كمان أزمة جديدة تتمثل في انهيار لبنان مش بس اقتصادياً حتى أمنياً.
يجب عدم الاتكال فقط على الشاشة الأمريكية في المنطقة، إنما الأخذ بالمبادرة من قبل اللبنانيين، التوحد، يعني على القليل على الأقل الاتفاق على عناوين كبيرة تهم اللبنانيين جميعا.
المواضيع اللبنانية شائكة مشعبة متشعبة وأيام يعني بتوجع راس المستمع الخارجي، لكن لازم اللبنانيين يكونوا طموحين بما يتعلق بحالهم، ولكن بدهم يكونوا بسيطين عندما بيشرحوا قضيتهم للعالم الخارجي.
You know, women are half of the population, approximately. So it makes no sense to any of us, I think, around this table and by Zoom, that we would not be entitled to full representation.
I'm for the quota because you have to start somewhere. Not forever, but at least for maybe 3-4 times to so the people can be used to the idea of voting for women.
If we look at peace talks, there is plenty of evidence that when women are meaningfully involved, peace talks are more likely to address root causes, which means are more likely to bring more sustainable results.
There are many, and women's rights activists have been asking them for a long time. A lot of them relate to legal reforms. A unified civil personal status law is the primary ask of women's rights activists in Lebanon. not only for issues of women's rights, but also for issues of governance in Lebanon.
الانتخابات النيابية هي محطة بمسيرة طويلة للنهوض بها البلد ولتحريره من الهيمنات الخارجية ومن التأثرات الخارجية، وعلى الشعب اللبناني أن يتحمل مسؤوليته بخياراته وأن يستفيد من هذه الفرصة التي قد لا تتكرر في هذا الظرف.
تجديد الهياكل السياسية والاقتصادية قد صعب هذا التجديد وقد بذات الوقت هو ضروري، لأنه الهدف من أي دستور والهدف من أي نظام سياسي بالآخر هو الناس، هو المواطنين والمواطنات.
There's one thing that needs to be done in Lebanon. There are so many scenarios that can be adopted. What's been really the issue is implementation, and so action. I think if that takes place, I think the country could see a lot of good things.
Action requires political will. Also, it requires knowledge and capabilities in those who are in charge of the executive branch and the legislative branch. All of these solutions cannot be put in place by people who don't even know how to put them in place, or have no will to put them in place, or no intention to put them in place.
Number one is trying to change the narrative. Number two, it's try to get some confidence building measures. It could be the beginning of an agreement with the IMF, but should have no illusion that it cannot be quick. It's going to take years for us to recover.
France stands ready to help Lebanon and the Lebanese people and to mobilize the international community. And we will not forget this country, Lebanon, in its very delicate situation and in this delicate period. But the main responsibility rests on the Lebanese themselves.
I don't think we should be waiting for a global political solution or a change. Of course, change is welcome, and first one who wants it. I just don't think that we should wait for Godot, really. We need to get going on the economy.
لبنان كان بلداً يحظى بعطف دولي، كان عنده رصيد معنوي في العالم، ولأسباب كثيرة منها سوء إدارة الدبلوماسية اللبنانية فقدنا الكثير من هذا الرصيد، لم يبقى منه الكثير.
All of them who are involved in the power structure in Lebanon are negotiating among themselves about the IMF deal, because the IMF deal means reforms. The IMF deals means basically, cutting into their share of the pie, and they need to come to an agreement among themselves about the new shares of the pie.
نطلع من نظام المحاصصة اللي هو التشويه لدستورنا ونرجع لمفاعيل والمبادئ اللي أرساها الدستور اللبناني، نرجع لمبدأ أكثرية تحكم أقلية تعارض.
Lebanon needs to continue to push from within for the things that it does agree upon. No outside power, especially the United States, is going to come in and solve your problems for you. That we will work with those who are fighting and working within their own countries for things that they believe in and that align with U.S. Interests and ideals.
The U.S. should continue to support those institutions in Lebanon that are working, particularly the LAF, but other elements. I think that the U.S. should prioritize those efforts to help the Lebanese get their economic house in order.
I think the mistake would be if we don't address all the sources of strength of Hezbollah simultaneously, and I think that's never done before. So Hezbollah, first of all, is strong in the Shia community. It's the whole political alliances of Hezbollah. I mean, Hezbollah has 12 members in the parliament. It's 10% of the parliament. They have 2 members in the cabinet. Support from abroad. It's Iran with the money and the weapons.
If I was the Lebanese opposition right now, I would reopen the issue of the special tribunal on Lebanon, which is just sort of dying a quiet death, and not let the STL go into the night, but keep it rather as something to, first of all, to get justice for those victims.
Don't plan to fight the last war you fought. You should plan to fight the next war you hopefully don't have to fight. And trends are changing. Keep the faith. I think you have strong leadership at the top of the left. who understands that it's hard to make ends meet with the salary that you're making. They're trying their best.
Look, the Lebanese military will play a part in shaping part of this. Civilian government needs to have an idea about what they want. So my recommendation to the LAF is to push back, to talk to government, to go on the record about its requirements, its needs.
If you're the LAF commander, I'd like to see him be more vocal about the national mission that he has. I'd like to see him utilize what Youmna Hajj was saying as far as strategic communications. This is a legitimate mission.
Reorganize and implement a new defense resource management system based on direct cooperation, based on common planning, based on new prioritization of the needs.